All right, let's talk about the Project Management Office. You know, the PMO. Now, you might just picture a bunch of process gurus buried in spreadsheets, but trust me, getting the PMO structure right is absolutely crucial for a company to succeed, so let's really get into it.
But first, think about this for a second. According to PM Partners, a crazy 1 in 5 PMOs gets completely shut down within just 2 years of starting up. That's a huge failure rate. It tells you right away that the stakes are incredibly high. You can't just slap a PMO together from a template. You've got to build something that delivers real, undeniable value.
So what is a PMO, really? Well, the best way to think about it is like air traffic control for a company's projects. It's that central hub, right? It provides all the standards, the tools, the guidance, everything you need to make sure every single project takes off smoothly and lands successfully. The whole point is to drive consistency, efficiency, and success you can repeat over and over again.
So here's our game plan for today. We're going to start with the basics of what a PMO actually does. Then we'll dive deep into the huge differences between PMOs and product companies versus services companies. We'll explore that classic tug of war between people versus process, look at a super modern example with the virtual PMO, and then we'll wrap up with a practical guide for building your own.
Okay, first things first. Before we can get into all the different types of PMOs, we have to understand what they all have in common. What are those fundamental jobs that every single PMO is built on?
At its core, any effective PMO is really just juggling 3 main things. You've got governance, which is all about setting the rules and standards. Then there's support, which means giving teams the tools and training they need to win. And finally, delivery, which is about making sure the actual work gets done right. A great PMO keeps these 3 things in perfect balance.
And this, right here, is where things get really interesting. See, a PMO that's a home run in a software company could be a complete disaster in a consulting firm. So why? Well, it's because their whole business, their entire DNA, is just fundamentally different.
Just look at the difference here. A product company is playing the long game. They're all about innovation, getting their internal teams to collaborate, and building a product that can scale. A services company, though, they live in the here and now. They're driven by client profits, billable hours, and hitting those strict contract deadlines. It's a completely different set of priorities.
So it's no surprise that these different priorities lead to totally different PMO structures. And the Project Management Institute has laid this out pretty well. Product companies, they often go for an enterprise PMO that aligns with their long-term strategy, or maybe a center of excellence to really push innovation. On the other hand, services companies will often use project-specific PMOs for each client, or maybe business unit PMOs for different departments. The one type that can sometimes work for both is the Project Support Office, which just focuses on giving everyone the same tools and processes.
Now, this difference in business models really creates this fascinating tension inside the PMO. It all boils down to a critical choice. Do you focus more on developing your people or on perfecting your processes? Let's dig into that.
First up, you've got talent management. And really, this is the people-first side of the PMO. It's all about investing in your team, right? Giving them training, mapping out career paths, and just building up the skills they need to crush complex challenges. It's all about empowerment and growth.
And on the flip side, you have governance and performance management. This is the process-first side. This is about control, compliance, and hitting your numbers. It makes sure every project follows the rules of the road, that reports are spot on, and that you're meeting your financial targets. It's all about being predictable and consistent. Okay, so here's where the rubber meets the road. A services-based PMO has to lean hard on governance. I mean, their entire profitability depends on having repeatable processes, nailing every contract detail, and tracking every single billable hour. It's about minimizing risk. But a product-based PMO, it leans way more towards talent management. It has to. It needs to empower its teams to innovate and collaborate so they can build an amazing product. Super strict top-down processes can absolutely kill that creative spark.
Now, to really see these forces at play, let's look at a really cool and more common example, the virtual PMO. This model puts a ton of pressure on getting that people versus process balance just right.
So what's a virtual PMO, or VPMO? Well, it's pretty much what it sounds like. It does everything a regular PMO does, just without a physical office. It's a framework, not a place. Your team can be scattered all over the world, and it can be a mix of your own employees, outside contractors, or both. And a VPMO can come in a couple of different flavors. It might be an internal team that's just spread out geographically, or you could outsource the entire thing to another company, basically project management as a service. I love this quote because it just nails the VPMO vibe.
It's lean and mean. You don't have the overhead of a physical office, but that also means you have zero room for error. A VPMO is judged purely on what it delivers. Its very existence depends on delivering success, every single time. Okay, so knowing all this, how do you actually go and build a PMO that won't end up as just another failed statistic? Let's turn all this theory into an actual plan you can use. If you remember only one thing today, please let it be this. There is no such thing as a one-size-fits-all PMO. You just can't copy and paste a template and expect it to work. Designing your PMO has to be a strategic choice, one that's tailored to exactly what your organization needs, whether you're selling a product, selling a service, or something in between. This 6-step roadmap can really help get you there. First, figure out the mission for your PMO. Second, take a hard look at where you are now and find the gaps. Third, build a framework that fits your company. Fourth, pilot it on a few projects to prove it works. Fifth, once you have some wins, you can start to expand what the PMO offers. And last but not least, never stop improving. The best PMOs are always evolving.
And this Gardner quote just says it all, doesn't it? The most successful PMOs today are shifting away from being the process police who were just focused on compliance. Instead, they're becoming coaches, enablers, who actually empower their teams to do their best work.
So, I'll leave you with this to chew on. Think about your own organization, or one you know really well. Is its PMO more of a coach, focused on empowering people, or is it more of a cop, focused on control and governance? And here's the most important part, is that the right balance for what your organization is actually trying to achieve? The answer to that question, that's the key to building a PMO that truly succeeds.